This week, baseball is back. Sans fans, of course. We'll tell you which celebrity celebrated without even really being there. Also, Dr. Fauci is a healthcare hero. We'll tell you how you can own a piece of him, literally, and what has to be the worst excuse for failing a test. Episode of Anchors Away.
You broke up a little bit. Start over again on that
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you for joining another episode of Anchors Away. Did it work?
Yeah, you're working fine. You can keep going. I'll edit it up. Yeah.
Oh. Thank you for joining another episode of Anchors Away. I'm Norma Holland, along with Robert Burns, former TV news anchors who now have fun with the news in a whole new way in a podcast. You can subscribe for free. That's what I was trying to say, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Hello,
Robert.
Norma. How are you?
Doing great. Another week of summer is going by.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the
fast.
time flies. It really does. And you and I were talking last week, and we did the episode, and a lot of people don't know that right after we posted, I believe it was actually the day that we posted the episode, was your birthday.
Yes.
It was your day of birth.
It was an interesting birthday. It was full of socially distanced greetings, which I actually really love. It's nice to get the love on social media, right? Or the emails or the text messages. The videos, so many people sent videos singing happy birthday. It was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have thought that I would be so delighted by getting a video of someone singing happy birthday. But it was great. I spent it with my kids and my husband. Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, you
Happy
shouldn't have.
birthday to you.
Found this for you.
Happy birthday, dear
Is that the Spice Girls?
Norma. Happy birthday to you.
You're very welcome. Just for you, our own special happy birthday song for Norma Holland.
Oh, and you personalized it, Robert.
You know how long I had to scour the internet for a song that had Norma's specific name in it so that we could play it for this special occasion? But because we love you, as we say every episode, we found it and we gave it for you.
You're the best, I tell you. Not a common name, you know.
No,
Thank you.
no, not in birthday
Thank you.
songs. I can tell you that. You know what? I was that close to trying to find like Chili's, like going to Chili's and having them like clap and sing it for you, but I figured that might have been a little too cheesy. So instead,
God.
and I know for a fact you wouldn't have wanted me to sing it. So you get
Do you
that.
know how people used to not like it when people did that in the Did you ever get that? Did they ever do that to you? Did they ever sing to you?
Oh,
in
all
a
the time. They
restaurant?
did it all the
How about
time.
That'll never happen again.
And there was a point where you were super embarrassed about it, and you're like, no, this is stupid, nobody look at me. And it's always more fun when you're on the other end of it, when you're watching that person be made a fool, and watching the waiters and the waitresses just go so melancholy through the whole procedure.
Happy birthday to you. That will never happen again, Robert.
No, and if it will,
I
they'll
mean,
be
I
all the
don't
way
see
over
that
there.
happening for a long time.
No, they can take the tray, the serving trays that they come, and they clap those things. That's not going to happen ever again. It was like a clapper to make some noise, and they would slam those things together.
Oh, it's even worse. I'd rather you just sing off key than clap, slam, pots and pans together.
It's like being at a Greek wedding. Opa! You're just throwing plates on the ground. Maybe a Jewish wedding where you're stepping on some cups. Who knows? So you had some fun times on your birthday. Congratulations to making it another round around the sun, as some people prefer to say.
We got to celebrate life, man.
It's
the opposite ain't no fun.
I'm sure it was a different birthday for you. For the rest of us who did not celebrate a birthday, it was also a reason to celebrate because, for people like me and your husband, sports are back. And if you don't really care about sports, that's okay. Because they're not, it's kind of like mini sports. It's not the real deal. Everybody's on a shortened season, but it's something.
There's cardboard cutouts for fans in the stands.
and it's hysterical to see. People actually paid money to put their cardboard cutout faces of their kids, of themselves, out in the stands. They did. You paid money. It's a couple $100. Major League Baseball found a way to make some money on this. And what I found funny is, I forget the game, but one of the players out there hit the ball, and it was a foul ball, I believe, and it went so hard it hit and knocked the head off of one of the little kids' cardboard faces in the background.
I've heard about this.
So the guy ended up sending, he said, let me find out who it is, I'll send you a ball. But the little kid's head was just, it was decapitated for the rest of the game. That's all you could see. That's the only thing that you would watch after that. So I'm excited that there's actually something activity-wise, sports, that's on television that I can watch. But the other thing that comes with baseball is Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Everybody knows this song. You can go to minor league, you can go to little league, 7th inning stretch, everybody does that. Well, Bill Murray, somebody who, like I said, you don't have to know sports. Bill Murray is a huge Chicago Cubs fan. So he posted a video for opening day singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And he is holding a giant super life-size teddy bear, and he is singing it for everyone to enjoy because Bill Murray is a national treasure.
He really is.
1, 2, 1, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let's see.
He's having way too much fun with this.
Chicago!
It's almost like he's pretending to be there.
Is he in a barn somewhere? I'm looking at the video.
Yeah, he's in like a little... Yeah, it's got to be part of his house. There's a big TV in the background.
Shaking the bear now. Can I just...
He is a national treasure, Bill Murray.
Can I tell you? So I went to Chicago with my husband to visit some friends years ago, and we went to Wrigley Field. Had to. It was like, my husband was like, well, no, we're going to Wrigley Field. And I will never forget. My husband's a Mets fan. They were playing the Mets. And so anyway, we get there, and it's freezing. This is Chicago in June. So I was desperate. I had a jacket. I had a baseball hat. It was freezing. I had gloves. It was terrible. It was freezing in the stands. It was awful. So I had to go buy a blanket. Well, they sold blankets for like $40.
Of course they did.
And they were not the Mets blankets. I didn't even care. I'm like, we're buying this blanket. I don't even know which team this is. I don't care. We bought it. We still have it. And it's like a great memory. But that field was so interesting, so old, right? It's like,
yeah, it's
so
got the
much
ivy out there. There's so much history there. And I've been to Chicago. I've been to Chicago a couple of times. I would love to go to a game. I never go during baseball season. I would love to go to a game. But the game you went to, do you remember who sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"? Because I don't think they do the celebrity singing anymore. I think they kind of stopped that for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think it was a celebrity. I don't think it was. Yeah, it was not a celebrity.
So you're kind of fortunate that it wasn't Scottie Pippen, because I looked up some of the worst "Take Me Out to the Ball" games, and Scottie Pippen, former Chicago Bull basketball Hall of Famer, was probably the worst one. Take a listen.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball. I don't care if I...
He just gives up. Let you do it. You know what? You all don't. You know the words. Yeah, I got that part right.
Let's go, Cubbies!
So I don't know if he forgot the words or didn't know the words going into it. However, he is a Chicago legend. He should at least study up a little bit before you go into it. Poor Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I tell ya.
Take
No.
me out to the ball. I don't care if I...
Oh Not even.
That's
Even I
all.
know that.
That's all this segment is going to be. By the way, if you want to listen to more interesting things, fast forward a couple of minutes here because I've got a few more that I found were pretty rough. You're familiar with Mr. Warren G, are you not?
Yeah.
All right, and I feel like every time he starts something, he has to say "mount up." And for those who aren't familiar with Warren G.
Come on.
Warren G, famous lead, rest in peace, Nate Dogg, too. So Warren G, yeah, I know. Warren G went out there and he did Take Me Out to the Ball Game. This was on Fox. This was a nationally televised game. And, of course, he starts it out with, you call it, Mount Up.
Cubby fans, mount up! Oh, 1, 2,
It gets, I don't know what happens here.
me to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Take me to the ball.
Oh, shoot, I messed up.
Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I never come back. Let me root for the Cubbies. If
They didn't hold that one as long.
it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get the run, baby!
Ooh, that is painful. Okay. Stick to. Yeah, no. I'm
Stick to
sorry,
the rapping,
stick to
huh?
rapping. Yeah.
So we've
Speaking
listened
of
to.
abysmal,
We've listened to Bill Murray, who's probably the best one of the bunch so far.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen, Warren G, and I'm going to give you one more, and then we will figure out who the worst of the three were. Okay.
Okay.
This one you might relate to a little bit more because you spoke about your Rocky fandom and your Ivan Drago fandom. Well, the movie right
No.
before Drago, it was not Dolph. The one right before Drago included Mr. T. And who do you think would sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" better than Mr. T himself?
Take
Pitiful.
me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks.
Cracker
I
Jacks.
don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the Cubs.
A little off time. He's okay.
If they don't win, it's a shame.
It's a shame.
Oh, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you out at the old
You out.
ball game.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Go Cubs, go!
I don't know. That's a tough one because, I mean, if you got to listen to it one more time.
Oh, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you out at the old
You out.
ball game.
Pity the fool who don't know how to sing it.
I got to think that he is not the worst. He's probably, of those three, he is the better of the three evils, the lesser of the three.
gonna
Mr.
say
T in my
Scottie
book.
No,
You like
it's Scottie Pippen.
Scotty was bad.
He
Scotty
was the worst.
Scotty was pretty bad when he forgot the words and just let the crowd finish it off.
Yeah, no, that's pretty bad.
So things like that we can get excited about. And if you didn't hear, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's topmost authority on infectious diseases, the one who has been telling us all along what to do about the coronavirus throughout the first pitch for the Washington Nationals. And not a good first pitch at all. Think of just how bad it was, and you can imagine how bad it was. But he threw out the first pitch, and so what happens is for certain people of that stature, the baseball cards company, Topps, they print out a limited number of baseball cards for that particular person. Well, Dr. Anthony Fauci, there we go, his baseball cards sold out. 51,000 cards were sold out in a matter of 24 hours, making it one of the best-selling baseball cards in history. And they only make a limited
Wow.
number of these things so they can become more popular and worth more money later on. But that's the card. 30 years from now, 40 years from now, if you have it, probably going to be worth some money.
I was just going to ask, like, how much do these things end up being worth? Like, what's what's the most revered baseball card? I know nothing about baseball cards, so I'm just like, what's the most revered card and the one that's the most worth, most lucrative?
Well, if you can hear my
Saving the word I'm
keyboard
trying to say.
tapping, I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's one of those legends, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth,
Oh,
any
yeah.
of those that were probably signed. Pete
Yeah.
Rose, perhaps. Some of those guys. It's got to be original. It's got to be mint. If it looks like it's hand drawn, if it's that old, probably worth a lot more money, regardless of who it is.
They were hand drawn at one point. Wow.
They look like they were, just portraits, drawn portraits of people. And so, those I would think have a higher price tag. I'm looking at some of these. Most expensive baseball cards ever sold was a 1909 card for $3.12 million. Mickey
Whoa.
Mantle card from 1952 sold for $2.88 million.
Okay, so hold on to that card.
Yeah. So maybe
Hold on
Dr.
to
Anthony
Fauci.
Fauci, if we can get some coronavirus vaccines going, might be worth some money if he's a part of it. All right, we do want to thank our sponsor for the show, Anchor. It's the easiest way for us to bring you the podcast. They give us everything we need. It's all in one place. And most importantly, it's all free. Everything on our iPhones, on our iPads, on our computers, all the creation tools to edit, it's all included, and they distribute the show for us. Send it to Spotify, send it to Apple, send it to Google. So you can start your own podcast, get in on the game, download the Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started.
I also got to ask you a question. This is totally off topic, but I have to ask this. There was a poll that was taken recently about, people's appetite for vaccines. Should, when there is a vaccine, because there's going to be, would you get the vaccine? And it's something I can't remember. Don't ask me to cite the study. I just remember that the percentage of people who said that they would take the vaccine was in the 30-ish% range. Only 30-some.
See, I feel like that's
would
low.
say that they would do it.
I feel like that's a low number.
I'm pretty surprised. But I've heard people say to me, I don't want to be that person who takes the vaccine first. You know what I mean? I'm going to wait till other people take it. I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like I would do it.
It's not like downloading the latest, software on your phone. You don't want to be the first person to do it. They usually say wait a while. So I don't think the vaccine is going to be the same thing. You want to wait until next year's model. I would sign up for, the initial one, but I'm one of those kids. I was pumped up with all the vaccines. My dog is. I don't care. Throw them all in there right now. It's all blending in perfectly fine.
Okay, I just had to bring that up just because it was on my mind today. I just thought, would I do it? And then I'm like, I think I would do it before I let my kids do it. Clearly, I'd want to see what its impact. There's people from Rochester who are taking the vaccine, are in a trial right now. So hats off to them. But it's just, I don't know. I just think about that. And I'm like, would you do it, Norma? And I'm like, yeah, I think I would. But who knows? When there's a vaccine, we'll see, right? So, okay, so we're talking sports still. My husband is like loving the sports, even if it's not what he wants, right? Like even though it's just on TV and the fans are cardboard cutouts. But I love this next story. It's got nothing to do with sports, and again, we're just kind of off topic. But this one, a lot of people talking. Yeah, so this next story was so interesting. I love it. People are going back to school. College is starting up again in August. People are already getting. I just was at the store the other day, and a woman was buying, bed sheets for her daughter's dorm room, and whatever that year looks like. But there's a story that we found. You found this, and I love it. For the craziest reason why a student performed poorly on an exam I've ever heard. Okay. A junior at the University of Georgia has been given a second chance, was stunned after a meatball blunder caused her to fail a test. So she was taking an online exam for her economics class while eating a meatball sandwich. Okay, meatball sub. As she moved through the test, get this, she says, a meatball fell out of the sub roll and onto her keyboard. Now, come on. effectively exiting and ending the exam before she was finished. Now, come on, really? The meatball fell out. It hit some sort of escape button, she says. And then she, in a panic, she had to write a letter to the professor to explain what happened. It took her 6 hours to write, though, just because she was so traumatized by
How
all
do you
this.
word that particular email? That's my question. How do you say, hey, prof, so I was eating a meatball sandwich and half of my meatball fell out and hit the computer. You're not going to believe this, first off. But half of my meatball sandwich fell out and landed on the computer and I submitted this test. Oops. How do you write that?
She writes, a meatball had tragically fallen onto my keyboard as I was taking the exam. This said meatball caused some malfunctions with my laptop and caused the test to submit itself. She got a 39% on the exam. And she says, it's no excuse. I understand. But she asked if she could retake the test. The professor responded and agreed to extend the deadline for her.
Well, the
until
response,
midnight that
the
night.
response is better than you would expect from a teacher. It's actually a lot calmer than I thought it would be. I mean, if you look at it, and I'll read you a quick, says, it begins off with Samantha. That's the girl's name. Samantha, well, this is certainly a new and unusual excuse for a low score. Later, I said, yeah, I get it. You have until 6 o'clock tomorrow. I would also recommend that you take the test either before or after dinner with a smiley face.
Oh.
So the teachers, let's not make this a habit. But what's funny to me, and you can find the link to this in our show notes below. What's funny to me is the girl not only wrote the email, but she also supplied a picture of her holding said meatball sandwich with a very sad face on as well. Like she just lost half of her meal because it was a tragic display of poor meatball holding. And so she,
the picture, it's terrible.
it's the saddest picture. It's like someone just took her milk money and left her on the street corner and just said, no, you just stay here, be thirsty. She's just got this sad look on her face, and she posted it on it looks like a Snapchat.
Yeah.
And it says, I'm not kidding. I'm sitting here eating a meatball sub, taking my econ test, and a meatball falls on my keyboard and exits out of the test. And she shows off the meatball sandwich. I would not have believed unless she had shown me a picture of the meatball sandwich.
So the dog didn't eat my homework. It's the meatball ate my test.
The meatball submitted it 3 hours early, so I spent the next 6
gosh.
hours writing you this email. So that's hysterical
Lord.
to me. University of Georgia. Go Bulldogs, I guess. That's
I don't even know.
finest.
Oh my God, the percentage, 39%.
How would you feel if one of your kids came home with a 39? Like if the teacher
you'd have
didn't
some
give them a
some
do-over.
explaining to do.
Yeah. You're never eating meatballs
The
ever
professor
again.
was very gracious to let her retake the exam at midnight, till before midnight that night. But honestly, I don't know. Kids today.
Well, you know what? She owned up to it because I don't know. I would have come up with a completely different lie. I would have said no one's gonna believe the meatball fell out of my sandwich, and nobody's gonna believe this shit. Like, come on, no one's gonna. This is absolute. This is anarchy at its best when meatballs start running out of my sandwich. Tragically, the meatball fell from my sandwich
Tragically.
and intentionally submitted my paper because it did not want to become subject to my dinner.
That said meatball.
Said, what was that one song where the meatball rolled under the table? What is it? The meatball?
It goes, now I got that terrible Take Me Out to the Ballgame song in my head, but it was on top of spaghetti.
That's it.
All covered with cheese. I lost my poor meatball.
It submitted
when
my
somebody
test.
sneezed. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the meatball, the
Okay, the
escaped
meatball.
meatball. All right. Clearly, we are straggling for hard news, but that's not what this show is about. This is us having fun with news rather than anything
One hard
else.
news, you better go somewhere else.
No, because the next one is not hard news at all. You know, it's only, what is it, the end of July? I always forget what month we're in because they've all blended together now since mid-March.
Yep.
And so it's the end of July, and already I think stores are smartly thinking about the holidays. because those holiday shoppers. Are you like a Christmas shopper? Are you at least a holiday time shopper? Or are you one of those I get it done in September to beat the
Yeah.
crowds?
I'm kind of a hybrid. I mean, honestly, like if I see something, I've already started this year, but normally if I see something like in September, October, I'll buy it, but I'm not like so in other words, I don't wait till the week before the holidays to go out and shop. And I certainly hated going to the malls to do that shopping.
I hate it. I've done
I
Black
hate
Friday shopping once, and once is enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. The deals just aren't that good in the stores. And so if I can get the best deal online, I'm going to do it. Honestly, holiday shopping, the way that we used to do it has been slowly dying. Has been dying over the years. So the stores are basically saying we're not even going to stay open is not even a surprise to me. Everyone's doing their shopping online anyway. Plus, hello, who wants to be in the store with throngs of shoppers? Wearing I mean,
Yeah.
they can't keep the stores. They can't fill the stores anymore. They're going to have a certain number of people only in the stores. So close.
Yeah.
It should have been done years ago.
And what's happening here is Walmart initially made the announcement earlier this month to say, hey, we're closing on Thanksgiving Day. Normally, I think Walmart does something like that anyway, or they close early enough on Thanksgiving Day not to let the Black Friday shoppers mob through right after they're done eating. Well, now Target has joined the mix, so I got a feeling this is not going to be the first or the second only ones, and that'll be it. I think we're going to see more and more of these, but I can remember sitting at so for the holidays, what happens is my family, we usually have a big family dinner, and Dad usually complains that the stores are still open, and it's asinine that they're still open. They should let their employees go home because you don't need to be Black Friday shopping on Thursday afternoon. And the complaint was they kept getting earlier and earlier for the sales. Do you remember that? Like they would do Black Friday sales at 5:00 on Thanksgiving Day. And then it was, we're doing Black Friday sales at noon. And then it was, we're doing Black Friday sales on Monday. And it would keep getting pushed forward and forward. And so now the argument is no more because Target and Walmart are going to shut down. But like you said, everybody is so used to, and I think we've been seeing it more and more, everybody's so used to online shopping. I don't want to deal with people anyway.
I don't
want to deal standing in. Who wants to stand in a line when you can have it delivered to your door?
Honestly, given the world that we live in, it's not safe to do so. Truly, I'm not going to go to a store and risk catching, an illness to save a few bucks.
No,
right? I mean,
no.
At some point. So, I mean, I have a friend she shops like beginning January for the following year. I'm like, she's that good. She's done. In fact, by now I know she's done.
That's smart. That's smart. Yeah, she doesn't have to deal with anybody. I know, it's funny because my mom is the person who will buy things in September or October where she's thinking about it and she sees it and she's like, that's what you got. You're not, what if it came out in November? Too bad. You missed it. Buy it on your own. You got what I saw in September. And as a kid, I would think that's so stupid because all the fun stuff comes out, right beforehand.
Yeah.
And now as an adult, I'm like, that is so smart because you don't have to deal with people. And one of the last things I would want to do if I had to go into a store now is deal with a Karen or any of the Karens out there. Have you seen the one, have you seen, you and I watched this. It's the religious, we call her the Exorcist Karen. She was in a grocery store and she was yelling at people and she was casting the demons away from them right in the middle of the grocery store aisle.
I command you, in Jesus Christ's name, get off this aisle.
Really?
Off. Get off. Back off. You need to. In Jesus Christ's mighty name. No. Back off. Get off this aisle. You are a demon. Get off this aisle and buy something. Having sex. Follow me.
Really?
Having sex. Follow my
I think I like more the woman in the back holding the
Yeah.
camera saying, really? This is happening right now?
Till I can buy something and then I will happily leave. I rebuke you all and cast you into the lake of fire. In Jesus
Lake of
Christ's mighty
fire?
name.
Oof.
She's not wearing a mask for the record.
She's not.
She's yelling and screaming at people. She wants to be in the aisle by herself, which I'm sorry, but no. You're going to have to put on a mask like everybody else, lady. This is a hot mess. I wish I would have been there just to see it like that because I would have been that lady going, are you kidding me? have respect, she says, for Jesus Christ's saints.
Well, this is up in Washington, and the woman is in, it looks like she's in a grocery store. It's not like a Walmart or anything. It doesn't look like that.
Yeah,
it looks like she's in a grocery store, and what's funny to me is she is yelling at people on both ends of the aisle to stay away from her aisle, essentially, while she shops, but she's trying to find stuff on the very bottom of the shelf. And so she's leaned over, and she almost, if you watch, she almost tips over because she's still yelling at them while she's leaning down to get whatever's on the bottom of the shelf. That is the funniest part of this video to me. Again, the link will be in our show notes, so you can enjoy it as well. But I can't deal with these people anymore.
Yeah, honestly, I was just telling Robert that I'm being served a ton of ads for kids' masks. Because of kids, when they go back to school in the fall, whether it's hybrid or they're going to go back, either way, kids are probably going to have to wear masks in school, and I'm getting a ton of ads for these masks. It's a way of life I think we're going to have to accept. And I was talking to someone today about this, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of think I'm going to always want to do this, and especially if you catch a cold. I mean, if you think about it, the cold virus is still out there, right? Just because COVID is what we think about doesn't mean that you still can't catch a cold, right? So when I inevitably develop a cold, I'm going to be wearing my mask, and I hope nobody looks at me funny, even after, there is a vaccine. But I'm just all about reducing the transmission of any illness, period. Like COVID, but then like any other little bug I have. So.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, and I'm going to want to know, because you're right, people are going to get sick. They're going to get the flu. They're going to get, everything else that comes along with it. And if you see someone now sneezing, wherever you are, you back up, hands in the air, and you back up.
I'm going in the other aisle. I'm going down the other aisle because I don't want to be around you.
You're like, you know what? I don't need soap right now. We're fine. We'll put some water in there. We'll shake it around a little bit, stretch it.
Yeah. No, we good. We good.
Yeah.
You put soap in there. Did you say put water in there?
Don't act like you've never stretched out the bottle of soap and or shampoo.
I just did that this week. I just did that, and I was like, I have become my mother. Here I am putting water in the damn. I did that with fabric softener the other day. I had a big bottle of it, and it was down to the very end. I'm like, oh no, we're going to get the last of this stuff.
Because you know that there is a little bit in there. You know it.
Oh, I know. I'm like, and that is still very good soap, conditioner. What do you call it? Fabric softener. So I put water in there, and I'm like shaking it up, and I'm pouring it out. I'm like, oh, we going to get this, I'm like, I've become Lucy Holland.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like it's this week's episode.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
This week's episode, Literal Worst, is realizing there's just a little bit of juice left in that container of, shampoo or fabric softener or whatever it is. And then coming to terms with putting some water in there to stretch it out.
Yes. I can afford a whole other bottle. It's not like I can't afford it.
Oh, but it's all the way over there. You have to go get another. But this one's right here. This one's right here.
Get the rest of this.
You got to put pants on and shoes, outside shoes, not the inside shoes. Please don't wear the inside shoes to the store.
Please don't, because then now you got to buy a whole new pair of house shoes.
Yes.
Once they've been tainted, once they've been defiled. No, I'm gonna put water in that bottle, and we're gonna get the last of that. Because Monday doesn't grow on trees around here. I find myself saying that to my daughters.
Because you're in
They're
mom
2 and
mode.
4.
Your mom, and they're not going to remember that. But they're in mom mode. They're going to be like, what's money? I don't know.
They don't get it.
I don't get what money is. You know what they're going to get? They're going to understand money when they don't have money for meatball sandwiches.
On top of spaghetti.
All right, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode of Anchors Away. I hope you got some enjoyment out of it. Leave us a rating or review online.
Bye.